All right, so it says we're live. Welcome to the show, the ScrappyDew Live Show. I'm Rob with ScrappyDew.com, and we have a good show for you today. We know that we put out that Nikki was going to be here, but she had some issues, so she will not be here. So hopefully we can get back to her next week with what she was going to talk about today. But I am joined by Michelle, so I'm going to let her tell you who she is, where you can find her, all the cool stuff that she does for ScrappyDew, as well as for you guys. As far as free files and everything. Oh, Michelle.
Good evening, everyone. Hi, I'm Michelle. I'm Design Team Leader for ScrappyDew. And you can also find me on the ScrappyDew Facebook page. And you can find my blog at michellemybellcreations.com. I also help out with support and also create Mojo Mondays card sketches. I create cutting files from them as well.
All right, and we're also joined by Ken. Okay, now he's probably a celebrity by now, and if you haven't seen his videos, it was in the last week's Cricut newsletter. They actually posted his video, his comparison video, to all the Cricut users out there. So he made it a little too famous for the show, but we're lucky to have him here and for him to share his knowledge with everyone here, and he may be giving out some autographs. So I'm going to turn around and let him tell you who he is, where you can find him, and what he does.
Thank you for that introduction, and by no means am I famous. My name is Ken. I'm with Ken's Creations, and I love doing YouTube videos. You can find my blog at www.creativeken.blogspot.com, and there you will see all my projects that I've used with Creative Ken and the Silhouette machine and with the Cricut Explorer machine. And you will also be able to check out my YouTube page where I've done all of my comparison videos and all of my Explore and Silhouette comparison videos. So definitely take a look at it.
All right, so just to explain a few things about these little live sessions. Now, if you're watching this on YouTube, you may see a little thing down here in the lower corner of your YouTube. It says "Be part of the conversation." Go ahead and click that, if you would, and you would be taken to where you guys can actually type in your questions for us, as well as you can say hi to everybody. And one of the benefits about this is you can go there, and you should see like a little green button down there in the lower right-hand corner, and that will allow you to ask your question. Now, one of the cool things about these little question app is, say someone asks a question, and you think, hey, that's a really good question. Well, you can go ahead and plus that question, and it will move up higher in the rankings for our little question. So it gets a little more attention. But we promise that we'll answer your questions as they come. See, as soon as you hit that ask a question, you can type your question there and hit the submit button, and we'll be able to see it. So we're tracking that. If you're not wanting to do that on YouTube or anything, you can go ahead and just comment below, and we'll track that as well for all the questions that you guys will have. So keep that in mind. All right. So another housekeeping thing that we want to get out of the way is keep in mind that there's about a 30 to 60-second delay between what we're talking about and what you guys are actually seeing. But if we move on to another subject and you guys have a question about something that Ken may have demonstrated, we can always go back. So we are monitoring everything, and I do want to thank everyone for coming out today. I know some of you guys are saying hi out there, so hi back, and we're going to go ahead and get this show on the road. All right. The first thing that we're going to do things a little different this time. Instead of talking about the main topic first, we're going to hit some of these questions up, and let's see. One of the questions that we'll hit up right now is going to be the Barbaries question, and I'm gonna select that question. So like I said, feel free to follow along here. Barbaries, she basically asked, in regard to the design space, if we all have separate accounts and we go to a scrap and only one person in the group brings the Explorer, can we each log into our accounts and cut using the same cutter? So I'm going to let Ken handle that question because he's our current Cricut expert.
All right, so the answer to that is simply yes, you can. So basically, when you go to a, let's say you're going to a retreat, keep in mind the most important thing is the Explore runs on Design Space, which is an online program. So you want to make sure your retreat is ready with Wi-Fi or be able to get on to some sort of way to be able to get onto the internet. But you're able to use one cutter, and the way you're going to do that is by logging in and out on your computer using your Cricut.com account. And you're able to just log in to Design Space and then cut whatever you need to, and then basically log out, and then the next person can go ahead and log in and cut whatever they need to. Now you can also share your designs this way as well. The only thing you're not going to be able to do is cut out images that you do not have access to. So for example, if you do not have a subscription plan and you do not have the let's say the Disney Princess cartridge, and someone has shared a project using that specific image, you would not be able to cut that image unless you owned that cartridge. So you can absolutely use one cutter. You would just only be able to use the images you currently have. So yes, you would absolutely be able to do that. Just, I can't stress enough, make sure the retreat that you do have absolutely has some sort of internet connection to be able to access your Design Space. That is very, very important because Design Space does work on internet. It is an online program, so very important on that one.
Oh, hey Ken, did you mention anything about the SVGs? About if you own SVGs?
Yeah, I
share
did.
those.
I did not know. So when you're doing a project, if you are using SVGs, you will not be able to share a project using the SVGs. So for example, I have a lot of ScrappyDew's projects, and if I import an SVG using ScrappyDew, that is something I'm not going to be able to share. And obviously the reason why is Cricut doesn't want to encourage sharing of those SVG files that they do not have the rights to. So if I make a project and it has an SVG file, I'm not going to be able to share that file with someone else. So the only files that I'm going to be able to share are those that have the Cricut images as part of it.
All right. Well, I hope Barb Reese was there and she can get her answer filled right there. All right. So we're going to move on to another question here, and this one is going to be from Jacqueline Perry, and she says, how can I save paper on my Cameo in version 3.0.351?
All right, this is actually something they just released in Silhouette, and it's one of my favorite features in version 3, so I'm going to actually share my screen here. And I have everything ready to go. And what this was released is basically up at the top of your Silhouette. I've just basically, as you can see, made a mess of my mat. I've loaded a ton of just random images. And they have what's called a nesting feature, which is this little N right here. And when I say nesting, it's a little bit different, that it's not nesting within nesting shapes. Like right here is a nesting shape. As you can see, it's a nest within a nesting here. This is nesting where it's going to nest inside of your certain media. Now, I use an 8.5 by 11 to cut on most of my images. So that's my choice of paper. So I've set mine to an 8.5 by 11 sheet here. So all I need to do is just hit this nest button here, and it actually will nest all of these pieces to maximize my paper size. So that is an amazing feature of the Silhouette upgrade in Studio 3, is it actually is going to go into paper saving mode, and so instead of me trying to figure out where am I going to put all these pieces, it's going to maximize your paper by naturally fitting all these pieces. Now keep in mind, this is all for one color, so I would be using one color. So if I'm using block paper, I would be cutting this all out of the block paper. But as you can see here, it took all of these tiny little pieces, put them inside of this cut here, and it's maximizing the paper. And I didn't have to do anything. The system naturally did it itself. So if I hit back just so you guys can see that again, I just made a mess here. And by just hitting that nest, it naturally just automatically goes into paper saving mode and maximizes the amount inside of that 8.5 by 11 sheet. So one of my new favorite features in the Silhouette Studio version 3 software.
All right. So hopefully that helps you. I know we have in the past we've talked about nest by color and everything else. If you have any more questions on that, feel free to ask. Otherwise, we'll move on to the next part here. And let me see if I see any more questions before we move on. And I'm not seeing any new ones. So we're going to move on to the main topic today, and it's going to be Ken again, but we're going to be talking about how you can use this cool little website widget on how you can create your own little custom boxes. And he's going to show you how you can go from the website and bring it into Cricut Design Space, and then I'm going to show you what it looks like bringing it into other cutting programs. So turn it back over to Ken so we can show off this pretty cool website.
Yeah, so ever since I can remember, I've always seen people making custom boxes or little treat containers. And just today I made this little tiny box here. And I'll also be posting a YouTube video later how to make this, but I'm going to show you guys a little preview here of how you can make this little box for free in Design Space. And it's pretty cool, and it's pretty easy. But let's go ahead and show you how to make that by going to this website. Let me share my screen here. Now the website you're going to go to is www.templatemaker.nl, and as you can see, there is a ton of different little templates that you can choose from to make or to design. They have envelopes, they have little pouches. The box that I just showed you is this guy right here. Now, what you're going to want to do is there's this More Options tab right here. We're going to go ahead and click that. Now, under the More Options, you have units of measurement, which is in inches, centimeters, and millimeters. You have the dimensions, which is obviously how big you want the box, which we're not too worried about because when you bring it into Design Space, you're going to resize it anyway, so I'm not as worried about that. You also have expert settings, so you can actually change the thickness of your tucking, the thickness of where you're going to put your glue, or in my case, the HET gun. You actually can change the rounded corners, and then you have the file format. And when I first saw this, I was really excited because I saw SVG, and I figured to myself, that's amazing because Cricut Design Space allows us to do SVGs. So I'm going to show you what it did. So I went to SVG, I hit Create, and it brings me to this screen, which then on a Mac I'm going to hit Save Page As, and as you can see, there's my SVG. So I normally hit Save, and then when I went into Cricut Design Space, I went into my upload image, what I normally would. Give me one sec here while it gets caught up here. And when I go into the vector upload to do this SVG file, and where did that SVG file go? Maybe it didn't save it there. Let me resave this. When I went in there, you're going to see where it says this upload SVG contained the following items that are not supported, which is text elements. It still lets you save it, so I still was able to save it, and I'm still able to upload it into Design Space. The problem that I was running into, and that you will run into, is even though I can draw a box around it and I can still hit attach, when you hit go, you're going to see these thick lines it created. And I reached out to Cricut today, and I reached out to some friends and colleagues, and no one could give me an answer why it was doing this. So if any of you know it, or if you know the reason, definitely feel free to reach out, or even in this Q&A, reach out to us, because I don't know the reason why. However, the way that I got around doing this is how I'm going to show you now. So what I ended up doing is I just hit back, and instead of choosing SVG, I chose PDF, and I hit Create. And I'm going to go ahead and zoom out a little bit. And you can either zoom out or hit this little magnifying glass. Now, if you're on a Mac computer, you're going to hit Command-Shift-4. It's going to give you little crosshairs. You're going to draw a box around it, and you're going to hear it take a picture. If you're on a Windows-based computer, you're going to use what they call a snippet tool, which is under your Start menu, and it's going to let you take a snippet of that. And what that essentially does is it takes a screenshot of your screenshot right there and saves it on your desktop. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and go into Design Space, and we're going to upload image, and this time we're going to do a basic upload. And this one's really easy because we're just going to go continue to step 1. We're going to browse. We're going to go ahead and look for that screenshot, which is right here. We're going to choose that. Now this one is a simple image because there's nothing complex about it. We're going to continue to step 2. You're going to see it right there, and we're just going to clean up the image by clicking this, and it's going to get rid of everything around it. So all you have left is the box. We're going to continue to step 3, and you're going to see the cut lines. And when we save this image, you're going to notice that it's going to turn all black, which is fine. We're not too worried about that. And then you can just put a check mark on it and insert your image into Design Space. And the first thing I did is I'm going to come over here to this guy, and I'm going to turn him white. Now, as you can see, it got rid of our score lines, and which is not a big deal. We just need to add the score lines into our box. Now, I've heard a lot of people actually tell me that they do not like the score line feature in Design Space. I actually think it's a very easy feature to use. How you use it is you actually go up to where it says Insert Images, and under All Images, you're just going to type score line, and it's a free image that you get with Design Space. So everyone gets this. You're going to put a check mark. You're going to insert that image, and as you can see, it is right there. And what I did is I just kind of used this back as my reference point to see where the score lines went, and using my edit function, this first guy I just rotated using my rotate feature here. And if you need to zoom in, you can. And I just moved it where I needed to. So this guy here, I started right here and lined it up right here and moved this down a little bit. And you're going to see it once you click off of it, change to a score line. Now if you need to move it down, you just grab it and move it down a little bit. And you're going to see it turn into a score line. Now, you can either do one of two things. You can keep going back to Insert Image and clicking the check mark and insert a whole bunch of these, or what I always do, that's a little bit of a trick, is just select this image, go to Layers, and hit Duplicate. And it's just going to give you another one. And what I end up doing is just basically going through the whole image and making all of my score lines, and continue through this process until all the score lines are complete on the box. And it took me about 3 minutes to get them all completely done. So that one's there. Now the nice thing on this one, because this one is the exact same length as that one, you just hit Duplicate, and you just have to move that one down to here. Just like that. And if you need to go back to this one as a point of reference, you can. So we just need another one of these. We're going to duplicate. We need to move this one around, so we're going to go back to our edit box, and we are going to make sure this one is up and down here. We need to shorten this one a little bit here, and This one's going to go right here. And same thing, we are going to select that one, come to the layers, duplicate, and we're going to bring that one over here. And we just have the last three down here, so we are going to do the same thing. Click that, duplicate option, and we're going to bring that option down here. Shorten it a little bit, as you can see. One more here, duplicate this one. And we have one more we need to do here. This one we're going to hit edit because we need it to be turned.
While you're doing that, Ken, I'm going to bring up what Susan Uncle put out because some people may not see what people are typing. But she wanted to talk about the on Windows the snip tool. She's right; it does not save it as an image to you. You actually have to you'll snip it, and then later on within the program you'll have to save it.
Okay.
It doesn't automatically save it to your desktop. I think that's what she's getting at.
Gotcha. I do know on Windows 8 you can hit the Windows key and print screen, but it will print your whole screen, which can be kind of a pain because then you do have to go into Cricut Design Space and use the eraser function to get rid of it. All right, now that we have all of our score lines here, it's really important. This final step is you have to attach these score lines onto your box, because if I was to just hit go now, what's going to end up happening is Design Space is going to think of cutting the box and then cutting the score lines separate from each other, and this is the common mistake. People get frustrated with score lines. So you have to actually draw a box around your box and come to the layers function and hit attach, and this is literally attaching all of your score lines onto your box exactly where you have put them. Once you've done this function, you're able to move your box around and you are able to size it. So now I can go to the edit function. I can say for the box that I made it 10.5 inches tall. I can then click out of this box. I can hit go. It's going to go ahead and size my box, and as you can see here, Design Space is saying, okay, we're going to cut this box and score it, and when I hit go, it is going to basically tell me to insert the score and style. So you're hearing my machine in the background fire up, and then you're going to see it say to insert both the score tool. There you go. Please load the scoring stylus in the accessory clamp and press go button, and then it's going to score it and cut it at the same time. So that's how you can make a box for free in Design Space.
All right. Yes. Yeah. So you have to go through a little bit of legwork because of that whole SVG issue, and I wanted to show you real quick with the template maker site. This is what basically what Ken says. So basically, I chose this little envelope, and you can go down here, and for those that use Make the Cut or Shortcuts a lot, you can actually use the SVG. You hit Create, and just like Ken said, you'll right click here and Save As, and then in your favorite cutting software, such as this one, it'd just be a simple SVG import, where you can drop and drag the SVG in there, and it pops in just like that. You can even do a quick little print preview, or I guess cut preview, and just to show you that it imports just fine. Just like same thing with the shortcuts a lot. So pretty cool little site that you can go to, create your own little custom little boxes, little templates there. All right, going through some questions. Not seeing any for that segment at all. Barbrice has a follow-up question for you, Ken, and maybe I can help with this one too. But she says, if I download Design Space and I'm using Scal 2, does Design Space override the drivers for Scal 2? Does it make Scal 2 non-workable? And I believe that I meant downloading Design Space. You don't download anything besides a plugin, and the
Correct.
plugin's all web-based. So it's a plugin for your browser. It's not like you download a program and you install it and it overwrites things.
Yeah.
So,
Design Spaces, the way to think of Design Space is that it's all up in the cloud, and that's how they've always described it. Is Design Spaces is all up in the cloud, and you don't actually store anything on your physical computer.
Yeah, and drivers. It's not going to interfere with your Cricut Explorer that you're using with Scal 2. I mean, there's no interface that I've heard of, and I don't know if Michelle has heard of anything different. But as far as I know, they're two separate things. And your Scal 2 will still work with your Cricut Explorer. All right. I did accidentally skip this question, Ken. Forgot to before we got into the main topic. It's from Trezek. She says, if time permits, can we go quickly over the SVG Viewer? Show her how it works. And yeah, she's not unsure. She's unsure on how it works and what all you can do with it. And so I thought Ken could show us the SVG Viewer, what it is, where you can get it, what it does for you.
Sure. Yeah. So the SVG Viewer is an amazing tool that you can actually view all your SVGs real quickly. Let me show you the tool first, and then I'll show you where to get it. For me, let me show you my screen here. So for me, being a designer for both PPBN and ScrappyDew, as you can see, I have files here with both of their files. So I have a lot of SVG files. So the SVG Viewer is awesome because if I'm going through and need to find a project and I'm not sure what I need to do, it will actually load in all of my SVGs. So I can actually import a directory. So all I have to do is go to this import directory. It's going to bring up my computer. It's going to bring up this dialog box, and I can hit desktop. And let's say I want to bring up the ScrappyDew. So all I do is hit ScrappyDew, and it's going to go through and look for all of the SVG files that I have in the ScrappyDew. So I can actually go through and look at every SVG file that I have in the ScrappyDew folder, and it's actually going to bring up a snapshot of what it looks like and give me what it looks like. So as you can see, here's the Aladdin file. And so it actually gives me an image of what that looks like. The other nice thing it does is if I want to, let's say, if I say, okay, I want to make a project based on this Aladdin file, instead of trying to go in and find this file, I can actually say View SVG folder in File, and it will actually take me specifically right to that specific SVG. So I don't have to worry about going and trying to find it and where is it at and specifically drill it down. It will actually take me to specifically right to that specific one. Now, the other thing it will do is if you have a want to make a PNG. So PNG is used a lot for print and cut. A lot of people use this, especially in the Silhouette Cameo, and soon when the Cricut Explorer releases their print and cut, they will support the PNG file as well. So if I want to make this into a PNG file, I can actually hit this button, and it will say the image has been exported to the folder containing the SVG file. So that basically means it saved this PNG file in with this SVG file. So once again, if I just hit View SVG in Folder, there's my PNG file that it just exported for me. It just created that PNG file. So if I, for example, If I had an SVG file that I created myself or I downloaded and it didn't come with a PNG file, this program now would create one for me, and then that way I'd be able to import that into my Silhouette Cameo or into Design Spade once I needed it and be able to do a print and cut with it. So it's a great tool for those, for organizing my SVGs or for quickly finding an SVG. The other thing I like to use it for is if I'm looking to do a project and I know I want to do something, for example, with the Charlie Brown file, and I want to look at it and then it's trying to find the file or being able to quickly see it. I can quickly find this file in the folder. I don't have to worry about trying to go through and look for this file specifically in the folder. And for me, that's a huge advantage because I have so many SVG files. Another thing, let me show you on the PPBN ones. So let me go ahead and bring those in. Same kind of thing. I'm able to go ahead and look at all of her files. And as you can see, there's a ton of files, but I'm able to see, and as you can see on her files, for example, here's her Beauty and the Beast file. She has a ton with her files, and if you try to bring up this in her in the actual file, they're teeny tiny files, and here you get a nice big picture of this. So I can actually see all the cuts. So instead of going just separately into the Beast, separately into the teacup, separately into the bell, I can see everything as one big picture, and now I can actually view this directly right here, and here's the set. So it's great. I love this program because it gives me a snapshot of what this looks like. Because here, if I wanted to view this, here's this SVG, if I wanted to view it, it brings this, and that doesn't help me out at all. So as you can see, it's a great tool. So I think it's great. Where you can find this, you can actually go to my website. So you can go to creativeken.blogspot.com, and on the main site here, off to the right-hand side, under all the Scrappy Factory Doll Builder, there is SVG Viewer. You can click there. That will give you more information on this, and you're able to purchase it from that website right there. It's for $8, and you can just hit Purchase SVG Viewer. Just fill out your information right here and hit Checkout, and it will let you download it directly onto your computer, and you will have an icon just like I have to launch it onto your computer.
Yep, it's for Mac and Windows users, so it's not just for Mac. And yeah, unlimited updates. If we find a bug in there, we'll update it for free. So $8, that's all you need. All right, going through some questions here. Well, not questions, more of a statement. S. Smith, she just said that she tried the template maker and it opens and imports just fine. And Silhouette Studio Make the Cut and Scal and Ecal. I did want to bring up that if you do a search for Clever Someday and envelope, that this right here will pop up. You click on the envelope, Clever Someday, or you can go to Clever Someday and just type an envelope in her search box. This stuff will show up. She does have sort of specific instructions, possibly for you Silhouette Studio users, of stuff that you may want to check in your preferences. So that's I haven't tried it in the Silhouette Studio, so she said it imported fine, but you may want to just double check this website, Clever Someday. Just do a search for Clever Someday and envelope, and you should be able to pull up this same website that I have. And she has specific instructions that you need to set up in your Silhouette Studio preferences. So that's just a little side note for you guys. All right. Yes. Back to the Silhouette, or back to the SVG Viewer. Susan says that she's been making SVG files for over 15 years, and she's had so many. And the SVG Viewer actually found SVGs that she had forgotten about. So that's another good thing that the SVG Viewer will do. It dives into every single folder that you give it, and it will pull out all the SVGs and show you a quick little preview of them. All right. Not seeing any more questions. So we'll go ahead and move on, keep the show rolling, and we're going to go to Michelle. She's got some design team gallery photos of what the ScrappyDew design team came out with this week. So we'll take a look at those. All right, Michelle, you have the camera. But you're muted. I don't know if you can hear. There you go.
Our first project is by design team member Angie, and she created a 2-page layout, and she combined several ScrappyDew pattern files. She used the Scrap Beauty, the castle from the Scrappy Beauty, I Love You a Latte Bears, and Independence Day Kids, and Carousel Horses. And that's page 1. And that's page 2. And that's the completed layout. The I Love You Latte Bears, that could be found in the Valentine category. And the Independence Day Kids, that could be found in the Patriotic category. And the Carousel Horses, they could be found in the Family category in the store. The next project is from Debbie from the Make the Cut forum. She used the Pop-Up Card Studio, and she also used ScrappyDew Doctors and also My Sunday Best. And the My Sunday Best file can be found in the Family category, and the Doctors, ScrappyDew Doctors, can be found in the ScrappyDew Vault. And the next project is by a ScrappyDew customer, and she created a baby book for a gift, and she uses the bedtime expansion pack, and she used the Vicky hairstyle, and she also used some black floss for the slippers for the whiskers on the bunny. And this is the cover of her book. And she used the Divas expansion pack and the Michelle hairstyle. And for this page, she used the funky outfit and also the Monica hairstyle. And she also used the Fairy expansion pack, wing number 5.
She really used the mix and match, huh?
She did, yeah. And for this page, she used the open toes and the summer girl outfit and the Lee hairstyle. And those are from the base set. And that's what the photo insert looks like. So using the mix and match feature of the program, you can create your own custom dolls. There's so many possibilities. And this is a paper piecing by Jean, and she used the bedtime expansion pack, and she created this for her grandson who is potty training right now. And this is also by Jean. She used the Brick People expansion pack and the Dana hairstyle from the base set. And this project is by Leslie. This is another Pop-Up Card Studio project. She used the base set and the Divas expansion pack. And that's the back. And this is by design team member Melissa. And she just loves these card boxes.
Yeah, there's that Ken's card box.
And she used the little Yorkies, and you can find that pattern in the animals category. And these are some of the views of the card. and that's the back. She also created a little envelope that you could stick a message in there, or if you wanted to add some money in there, you can put it in that slot in the back. And this project is by Monica, and she also used the bedtime expansion pack, and the Chris hairstyle she used in boy outfit number 2, and the Vicky hairstyle in girl outfit number 2. And this next project is by Paulette, and she created a tooth fairy box. And the inside of the verse is created by her daughter. And she used the ginger hairstyle, and I believe outfit 1, and shoes from outfit 2. And this next project is also by Paulette, and she created a fairy in a jar. And what she did is she added a battery-operated tea light. And there you can see it lit up there.
That's pretty cool.
Some really great projects this week.
Yeah, they've been busy.
And that's it.
All righty. Thanks, Michelle. All right. I do see some questions about some of these SVGs, SVG Viewer. I'm going to select this one right here. It's going to be from Fuddy. She says, how come Internet Explorer cannot open SVG files? What can I use? Well, here's the deal with Internet Explorer and SVGs. All modern browsers, Firefox, Chrome, they will display SVGs, you know. But for some reason, Internet Explorer, I want to say maybe 9. That's when when the Internet Explorer 9 came out, you are now able to view SVGs in the browser. So you'd actually have to double-click the SVG, open it up in a browser. Anything before, I think, Internet Explorer 9, I could be wrong, will not open up in a browser. And for some reason, in Windows, when you're looking at that thumbnail little preview, it will default to Internet Explorer 7. Now, there's a couple things that you can do. You can try. Some people say that they want to try an extension. And if you look over here, this is what I used on my Windows 7 computer. But I don't have any virus codes, or I don't have any antivirus on my Windows partition. But I did read somewhere where it did kick this back as a virus. But I've been using it just fine. So you may want to check into this. All you have to do is I just did a Google search for View SVGs Windows, and this right here, you'll download it, you'll install it on your computer, and then I'll show you here on my little Windows partition that SVGs, like maybe you guys can see this right here. Let me close out and make the cut here. But this right here, that's an SVG. So it will give you a quick little preview of the SVG. So that may be one trick that you can use. But yeah, Internet Explorer, for some reason, it defaults to Internet Explorer 7 whenever you are in some sort of like preview type of, you see how these thumbnails over here, these are actually make the cut files, but it will not show up as an SVGs will not show up as a preview here. It will just show you as, hey, it's an Internet Explorer file, open it up and see what's inside of it. So that's one of the benefits of the SVG Viewer for Mac and Windows that Ken was talking about. We'll get to these other questions here about SVG Viewers. Let's see. All right, S. Smith, she said, does the SVG Viewer, will it read all SVG files even if it's nested in directories 2, 3, 4 layers deep? Yeah, I mean, it goes deep. I mean, if it finds a folder, it says, hey, there's a folder, I'm seeing what's inside this folder before I move on to the next folder. So it will go, you know, several layers deep in order to find those files. Okay. She also has a follow-on question. Isn't SVGs native to Mac? Yes, they are, but isn't, you know, I get this question a lot. You know, why would I need this for a Mac? Well, you know, just like Ken said, hey, I just imported a directory full of folders, full of SVGs, and I can view them all on one program. You know, why would it, you know, it's a time saver basically. So you can open up the SVGs, you can import them, and then you can find out which ones you're looking for. Whether, you know, if you didn't do that, you'd actually have to go into each individual folder. You'd have to double click. Okay, I think it's in that folder. Okay, maybe it's not. Let me check another folder. So that is what the SVG Viewer was sort of designed for. One quick drop and drag your folder in there, and it will do all the searching for you. All right, Gene asks the question, when you export using the SVG Viewer and you click that export button, export PNG, does it overwrite your SVG? No, it doesn't. But what it does do, it will export a PNG file, and it will name it exactly the same name that your SVG is. So whenever you sort by name, that PNG file will show up right next to that SVG. So if you don't want to crack open the SVG Viewer and you open that folder, you're like, hey, which one is which again? And that way, that little photo preview that this program will export will give you a quick little preview of that SVG. All right. So hopefully all that makes sense. All right. I'm not seeing any questions. I don't know if, is Chris here? Do you see him, Ken? Oh, you're muted, Ken.
It looks like so.
I see him, but I don't see him.
The spirit of Chris.
Yes, Chris did.
Popsicle Man. He's here.
There he is. You're going to have to unmute yourself. You know how to do that? Go to the top and.
I do. Thank you.
Okay.
Popsicle Man.
Yeah. So now we have what's poppin' with Popsicle Man.
I'm here.
So what you got going on? I heard you're trying to reach a subscriber base of what? What's your goal? What's your short-term goal right now?
I am right now shooting for 1,500 subscribers. When I last checked, I am 25 away as of about 5 minutes ago. So we're almost there.
How far away?
25 away.
25 away. Okay, so maybe. Okay, so maybe you can do a quick screen share, show us where people can find you, so they can subscribe. Because I see that we have a lot of viewers tonight. We have like 2 people watching, so maybe you can get 2 more. No, I'm just joking. There's more people here.
Okay. Well, I'll do a quick screen share. Let me pull up YouTube here.
Okay. And don't forget to share your screen.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that now.
Gotcha.
Just taking a minute because I have.
And
anytime I have the Cricut canvas up, it takes forever for everything.
Gotcha.
It uses a lot of memory, I guess, or a lot of web page or something.
I think it's time to upgrade your computer to a Mac.
Well, I do have a Mac, but it's not mine yet. It's in the household, but it will be passed down to me soon, hopefully.
I see.
Okay, so let's see here.
Yeah, so for those of you that don't know Chris, he does Christopher, right? You go by Christopher.
Whatever. It doesn't matter.
I keep calling you Chris because I have a stepbrother named Chris. But but for those of you that don't know who he is, he does a lot of great Cricut videos. Makes you get all the warm and fuzzies about your new Cricut Explorer. And he also is very known, if you just do a Google search, Christopher Allen Popsicle, and his YouTube video will show up about popsicle sticks, on how he used popsicle sticks to write messages on.
Okay, I will. I think I'm ready to do a screen share now. If I do it right, you
Okay.
have to tell me if you can see it because you know I.
Yes, I know you and your computers. Yes, I can see it.
You can see it? Okay.
Yep.
To find my page, all you'll need to do is type up in the search bar Christopher Allen Designs, and my page will come up, and it is. Hold on one moment. Of course, it's taking forever.
Yeah, so hopefully all you guys watching out here, you guys will do this. Follow along with Christopher, and subscribe because he's only a few away.
And here, I am here at the top. It brings up, for some reason, it also brings up a Christopher Allen Cricut. I'm not quite sure, but it is the same page. I haven't figured out yet why it does that, but it does bring up a second one, but it brings you all to the same place. And this is my main page that says the Christopher Allen Designs with my logo, and these are all of my videos. My newest video that I posted was actually how to apply vinyl onto a Christmas ornament, and actually some of the dolls I think would be great on the ornaments, depending on the layering and stuff like that. And there is a tutorial here on my page about layering vinyl. But the popsicle video is right here. I posted it about 3 weeks ago, and it's where I teach how to write on popsicle sticks with the Cricut Explorer.
Yeah, that's the popular one. That's the popular one.
I guess so.
Now you may have to scroll to the top and click the View as Public, and then you can show people where the subscribe button is, I think.
Oh, okay. The subscribe button is going to be right here.
Yep.
It's to the right of my name.
So, guys, help Christopher out. Subscribe. Once he reaches 1,500, I think he's got a little Kickstarter thing that he's going to be doing once, for all his 1,500 fans that he's getting.
Yes, I do.
So help him out, and he'll help you out. Okay. All right. This I'll know with Michelle if are you ready for this question? There's a question that I accidentally skipped. Are you here, Michelle?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. This question here comes from Jen. She says, "How does one become part of the design team?"
Well, what they could do is they can send an email to. Oh, let me get the page 1 second.
Okay.
Okay, if they want, they can send an email to ScrappyDew Design Team Call at gmail.com, and they can submit 3 projects that they've created. They don't have to be ScrappyDew projects. They could be anything. And tell me a little about yourself and if you belong to any other design teams. And just send an email and we'll check it out.
All right. Yep. That's how you join. Get your designs looked at. All right. Someone said, "Hey Rob, look at Julie's question." She said last week her computer is shut down twice during the broadcast. Now it's shut down again. I would love to watch the broadcast without shutting down on my new Windows 7 Pro system with lots of RAM and extra graphics, memory, etc. Any suggestions? Well, first suggestion would be get a Mac. No, I'm just joking. Just joking. The other one is, what browser are you using? I'd probably stick with something like Google Chrome. Hopefully you're using that because that's what Google Hangouts is. Google Hangouts, Google Chrome. Probably works the best with. Yeah. So I don't know. I would say do that. Have you got any experience with this, Christopher or Ken or Michelle? help troubleshoot.
I know that some people with Google Hangouts, it depends on if they have other applications up and running in the background. So if they have iTunes or other things taking up a lot of their RAM or memory in the background. So I had a friend that had iMovie running in the background and iTunes with the movie on pause and all that stuff running. It just slowed down the computer. So just making sure that a lot of the background stuff is not running also helps.
Yeah, I really wish I could help Julie. And Julie's, for those of you that don't know Julie, she's very helpful in the Make the Cut forum. She has her own Make the Cut YouTube group or Yahoo group, so she's very helpful. And later on tonight we'll be showing you basically a tutorial that she has done, and I'm just going to do a quick little highlight on what she's done and show you where you guys can get these cool little files that she made that I'm going to be using for the tutorial coming up. So we'll take a look at that. Let's see. Julie says she is using Chrome, so I don't know. Man, that would have been my only suggestion. Would be go Chrome. So all right, I'm sorry, Julie. Sorry. Taking a look. Oh, Jana said that she did subscribe to you there, Christopher. So she said good luck on reaching your 1,500.
Actually, I wanted to say thank you, everyone. I think we actually reached it.
Oh, did we? Oh, sweet.
Yeah, the problem is it's not. So many emails have come through. Thank you, everyone, that it hasn't calculated them yet because I keep checking, and I keep getting tons and tons of the emails coming through, and I can actually show you. These are all of my emails that have come through for subscribers, and I can't. It's not registering on YouTube yet, so I think we're there. So if we are, thank you very much.
Sweet. So all two of you guys that are out there watching this right now, thank you.
Yes,
thank you from Christopher to you and everyone.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Let me take a look at more of these Q&As. Yep. Susan said she did it as well. Yep. All these people said yes. I've subscribed. So good deal. Yeah. Julie said nothing's in her background. Sound seems to be a problem. So gosh, yeah. I don't know. Man, I'm feeling for you, Julie. Feeling for you. Because now you get to see me do a little tutorial. All right. Only Ken has to call him Christopher. That's what Paula says.
Paula. I forgot about that.
So Chris, it is. All right. Okay, so I think that's all the questions, all the highs, and yes, I subscribed. So thank you everyone for that. Now, what I wanted to go into, if you got the newsletter, we're going to be talking about. I'm going to screen share here real quick, and start the screen share. All right. Make the cut. All right. So I need to see which make the cut I need to be in. Let's say not that one. Maybe this one. Yes, that one's it. Okay, so back to Julie. She has on her Yahoo group on MTC Toots this cool little MTC file. And if you don't have Make the Cut, you can try to duplicate this with me, because I'm going to show you how to make this. But she has them all laid out already for you in the various letters. And what sort of got me thinking about this may be a good tutorial, because I was actually in the Make the Cut forums. I saw this. I was like, it looks like a good little tutorial. So I searched for the font, and I found out that Julie had it on her Yahoo group, and you can basically go to the Make the Cut forum, and you can type in the font name, and I'll tell that to you here real quick. Let me go to my download. Actually, let me just go back to Make the Cut, because it has it in there. So all these cool layers of stuff that you can make. So what do you start off with first? Well, basically you want to load the font once you download it and we'll put a download link in this video, and to her Yahoo group, and you can download it. It's called MTC Regal. And whenever you click that little T right here, you are temporarily loading that into your font system. Okay, so that's what I typically do. I don't want to have a lot of fonts installed. It takes other programs days to just load up all these fonts. So I'm going to temporarily install it. I already did. It's called Regal. And down here, it's alphabetical order, of course. And it comes up as Regalin? I don't know. Regalian. I'll call it Regalian. But anyways, it'll show up in blue because I temporarily installed it, and that's what I'm going to use. Something to note with this is that you'll notice some of them have like blocks. Those are just basically like the lowercase. They call them glyphs, and this right here only deals with capital letters. So it already has that cool little funky background with the letters itself. So the one that I did was this one right here, Doing Scrappy, established 2009, and I'm just going to show you how I did this, not using Julie's like little clip notes versions of the letters, because you can essentially move these lines anywhere you'd like. So I'm going to start off with the S, and I'm just going to double click, and I got an S. My matte, I'm going to change it to contrast just because I can see everything a little better. You make it the size that you wish. I'm going to zoom out here. And then in order to make those lines, you needed a box. Okay, so you go up here to your basic shapes. You can start to type in square in the little search, and it pops up. So I'm going to double click that, and that's good enough for me. That's all I need. All right, so this right here, I'm going to stretch it to the length that I wish to have my letters. And if I wanted everything centered up nice and pretty, I can highlight everything and make the cut has what's called stacks, and you can either like right click and get to it, or you can highlight everything and hit the S button. And as you can see, it just centered everything for me. I may make this a little bit bigger and redo the center stack. Okay, so we have that. I'm going to select this. I'm going to hit copy, and then I'm going to select everything again. I'm going to hit weld. So now that piece is fixed in there. I'm going to hit paste in place. So it's going to paste another black box right on top of it. And with this one, I'm going to do a shadow. Okay, and I put right here, I just use minus 1.5, have it on inches. I have the corner join set to mitered, which gives me the squared edges. So the minus will make the shadow, inside, as opposed to a positive would make it on the outside. So I want the inside, mitered, hit accept, and then basically all I do now is I stretch this out, and then I can select everything. Well, first I want to make sure something real quick before I tell you something wrong. Now, if you look over here, I have the shadow layer that I just created, and then I have the square that I pasted. I can go ahead and delete that, and now I can select everything, and then over here it's called a Boolean join. I believe it's this one right here. So Boolean join. I can click that, and I want the difference from B to A, and that's how you create that line that's in the center there. And then you can just type in, you can type your text on what you want it to say. So I just chose the text here. I think I went Times Roman. Let me find it here. Times Roman, and then you can just add the text that you want, which is right here. doing Scrappy. That's what I added. And you can just stick it in the center. So that's basically how you can create those little slits for the letters. So that's about it for that tutorial on how you can create these cool little monograms. But like I said, we'll put in the description box, and maybe if Julie's here, she can post the link to the Make the Cut group, and I'll post the links to the forum on where I got this from. All right, so let me take it over to Ken and see if he saw any questions. I don't know if any questions arrived or didn't, because I've been watching the tutorial.
I don't. The only one I saw was there is a question from a Buddy Perkins, and it says, how do you make a SVG file with Cricut Explore? And the answer to that is you can import an SVG file with the Cricut Explorer. However, I don't. If the question is make an SVG file, you're not able to make an SVG file. You're able to import an SVG file, but you're not able to export the SVG file. So you can definitely import and use other SVG files, import and cut that SVG file, but unfortunately you're not able to then export that SVG file or design something and make that into an SVG file. So to answer that question, if that's what you're currently asking, you're not able to make SVG files.
All right. Let me see. I thought I saw Paulette say something about the 4 Cricut people. Do you see that question or that comment?
Yeah, I don't
What's she
know
referring to?
I'm not sure. For Cricut people, Narelle has a tutorial on her blog, The Non-Crafty Crafter. She might be referring to the box card, maybe, because I know Narelle has an amazing tutorial on the box card. So when I released my box card, I released a file, and the file is easily imported into the Silhouette Cameo. And when I released my box card, I linked it to her blog for Design Space, because she did an amazing job on a tutorial on her box cards for Design Space. So I'm assuming that is what Paulette is talking about for Narelle on the tutorial on that, but I could be wrong. So if so, maybe she'll clarify.
Alrighty. Jerry, she says, congrats, Chris, on making the 1500. And Vicky said that she subscribed to you as well.
Vicky is an amazing subscriber, just so you know, Chris. She comments on all my videos, so she's an amazing subscriber.
Yeah, she's a keeper, and we're working on getting her photo updated on her account, because right now she's just a little blue person, as you can. I don't know if it shows. Yeah, she's a little blue person. Oh, this one may be for you, Julie. I don't know. She said that she had to update her Flash because the video kept crashing, so you may want to try updating your Flash. I don't know. We'll see if that works, but maybe it might be Java. I don't know, but I don't think Chrome does Java. All right. Not seeing any more questions or anything.
Oh, Paulette just clarified. Narelle has a good split letter tutorial.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So sorry for Cricut Explorer users, she has an amazing split letter tutorial on her blog. So head over to there, and she actually has a very good blog on any Explorer topic. So if you haven't subscribed to her blog, definitely subscribe to her blog. And you can also find her on Paulette's Facebook group too. So make sure to follow that.
Okay. Yeah, Carolyn tells you, Chris, next goal is 2,000. So keep on trucking. Keep on trucking. All right, I'm not seeing anything else. All right. Yeah, so if you guys don't have any more questions, we'll probably call this one in the books. We surpassed our hour mark again, so sorry about that. But we always try to keep it short, but it sometimes comes out long, right? All right. So with that, feel free to subscribe to Chris's channel if you didn't already. Feel free to subscribe to mine as well as Ken, because we all try to put out some great videos. And we'll see you next time, probably Thursday, same time, 9:30 Eastern time. And I do thank all 2 of you guys for coming out and watching tonight. So thanks again. All right. We'll see you next time. Bye.